everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Motorsport Manager with a Phoenix Nice racing team. In the last session, Sundin struck again. Thundering Sundin struck again, and she grabbed a thrilling race victory in Belgium to extend her lead in the Drivers' Championship. Can she maintain that form in Munich for the 6th race of the season? We'll find out very shortly, but before we do, some pre-race preamble to get through. Starting with the car. So we've been, as per usual, trying to improve the reliability of our current parts and develop and design new ones. As such, Sundin has been granted use of a new suspension, which we have promptly and diligently raised the reliability of very swiftly. So she has this new suspension at her disposal, but to keep Valdes happy, we've had to take away the engine she was using and give it to him. So he has a slightly better engine now, but as you can see, Sundin's suspension is far superior. So she still has the edge slightly when it comes to the parts in the car at the moment, but Sergio Valdes is still relatively happy. Well, he's content with his vehicle. If we look at the car in general, in comparison to others on the grid, the new suspension that we have just fitted to Sundin's car is the second best on the grid. That's quite an advancement, really. Our engine is third best on the grid, our gearbox is 6th, and our brakes are 9th. Now, since the last session, we have now got use of our where are they? Brakes R&D facility and telemetry centre. We have swiftly and promptly started designing a new gearbox. Now, the components that we got for the brakes weren't particularly marvellous, so we're still going to struggle designing brakes here. But the gearbox that we have just commissioned is looking pretty damn good. That's going to take 28 more days. It might not even be ready for the next race after this, but it will be ready for the end of the season, and I have no doubts that given the performance levels of this new part, it'll put our gearbox in the top 2 on the grid for the back end of the season. So things are looking really good for the progression of this season's car. We are keeping pace in the development race with the top teams. So things are looking good. We have got a new sponsor, Ishikawa Malt Whiskey, because nobody can make malt whiskey like the Japanese, right? And yeah, we're going to move swiftly on to our Meet the Team segment. And the team that we shall be focusing on today, we've looked at Ruiz, we've looked at Firebird, I think. Yeah, we have. We've looked at Zampelli, but we haven't looked at Dragon Race Team China. So we shall take a quick look at them. Dragon Race Team China. Now, this team, I can't recall if they were... yes, they have always been in this league, in this racing series. The chairman, the principal, he's got a very secure job. He's done a good job with this team. They were towards the bottom end of the field in the first season. I think they were predicted to finish 9th out of 10 cars, or 8th, given Predator Racing and our team were worse. So they're in 5th at the moment and probably outperforming where they should be. They have a majorly Chinese operation, hence the team name, I suppose, with their best driver being Hong Liao, who is a potential 5-star, currently at 3. He's not a bad driver for this series, and he is spearheading their attack. Their second driver, N2, is also not too shabby. Got some decent stats, some shabby ones as well, but you know, you're going to get that at this level. Some good stats mixed in with some bad, unless you're Sundin, of course. And then Tang, their reserve driver. Their lead designer, not great. But their race mechanics, I like him. Concentration, pit stops high, performance high. Not bad. Her on the other hand, not so good. Even though she's 3-star, she doesn't have the stats in the places that I like them. But all in all, kind of a well balanced all round team. Nothing spectacular, but nothing massively horrendous. Even the marketability is middle of the road. Their car is the 7th, no it's not, it's the 8th best on the grid, just below ours. Their drivers, however, 6th. The headquarters is pretty good. In fact, it's the 2nd best on the grid. Their staff, 6th, and their sponsors, 6th. So yeah, a bit of a middle of the road team. And they are 5th out of 10, so that is kind of middle of the road, I suppose, if you look at things. So yeah, only slightly outperforming. Their car, black and red. Keep an eye out for it in the race. Shouldn't be challenging for top honours, but you never know. They could be up there if things go well and strategies play out to their favour, especially during variable weather conditions. So that is Dragon Race Team China. In the next session, I think we've looked at these already as well, we'll take a look at Silver Racing. Why not? Okay then, so it is time for race weekend. We have raced here at Munich before, but this is a slightly different track setup. Predicted rain for qualifying and sunny for the race. This is never 100% accurate, so we'll wait to see what happens. And it's very low for tyre wear and very low for fuel burn, so this should be a race where we're not massively hindered by any sort of adverse strategies, unless weather comes into play. Third or above has been the theme for our sponsorship, and we shall continue that theme here today. Yeah. Let's just dive into practice. I'll of course do that off camera. Join me for qualifying to find out if we can, well, hit our target and more importantly, in the race, gain another victory. Right folks, here we are. Practice has been completed, and Sundin fastest lap in practice with Valdes in 6th, and neither of these guys were pushing. We just filled them up. We did the setup first to get the car setup sorted, and then filled them up with 3 laps of fuel and just sent them out to get some race knowledge on the soft tyres. No pushing, no messing around, just having them go round and gain that knowledge. And Sundin put in a very fast lap. Of course, the nearest rivals in terms of, well, probably the faster car, Ricardovic and the other chappie. Who was the other chappie? Antonov. They was testing the medium and hard compounds. Probably why their times were so slow, but of course this doesn't tell the entire picture. Qualifying will be far more true to pace, I imagine. Now, it did predict rain. It is sunny for now, with a hint of cloud. It is looking like it's going to brighten up. But I'm kind of a bit edgy here. Do we send them out for an early lap? We normally only send them out right at the back end of the session to try and get track position. Track grip is going to be low now, but if we get a banker lap in to start with, just in case the rain does come at the back end of the session and ruins our strategy, I think that would be preferable. I really do. Soft tyre, 10% performance going on both cars. The setups have been perfected, and actually were perfected very quickly, which gives us much more track time in practice to focus on our tyre knowledge. We just missed out by a smidgen of getting that 15% bonus for both the race trim and the soft tyre knowledge, which is annoying. Literally another 15 seconds of track time, we'd have got it. So soft tyres on both for qualifying. Third or above is the target. Potential for rain? Possibly. I'm going to send them out now. I mean, track grip is non-existent, but fingers crossed we might get some clear track. I'm going to send them out pretty much side by side here, because they're not going to hold each other up. They're both in a similar car. In fact, Sundin is faster, so she should pull away. Just hope that nobody comes out to do their outlaps when we're on our hot lap. It's a distinct possibility, but we're taking that risk due to the threat of possible rain later in the session. We're getting our banker laps in nice and early here. Keep an eye on that weather. It's clouding over. After 6 minutes, the temperature's rising, but cloud is coming in. Then the temperature's dropping. This is where the forecast centre would play into our favour, because we could make better plans, but when you don't have the benefits of seeing the forecast, you've just got to play it defensive. Just got to play it defensive here. And that is just take the safe option, not take any risks. Going out last would be a risk. It's a preferable strategy. If you know it's going to be sunny, it's great, but if it's up in the air, and here's coming the rain, you see. Here the rain comes. We're going to get our hot laps in just as the rain is about to come down, and everybody else are going to get caught out because we are at the front of the queue. This could play perfectly into our hands. Overheated the brakes, Sundin. Tyre temperatures are good. Perfect brake temperature for Valdes. Didn't see the tyres. But we're in traffic, but even so, it's better to be in traffic on a dry track than not in traffic on a wet one, or even a damp one. So this is horrendous traffic, it has to be said. It really is absolutely horrendous traffic. But the track is dry, and that is the main thing. We're 3/10 down on somebody's time. Somebody already set a time? Already set a time here. What we're 3/10 down on here? Valdes is already 2/10 down. Here comes the rain. Now if this rain is set for the entire race, we have it made here. Because as I've just said before, we are at the front of this queue. Everybody else behind us are going to suffer for longer when the track is damp. This could be a 1-2 on the grid. It really could. So Sundin sets her time as the track was just beginning to get damp. Valdes will be not far behind, 4/10 slower, but the rain is now out. Look at that, Sabado a second. Look at that, the rain has come. And the track is not going to dry anywhere near in time, so our decision, even though we couldn't see it on the weather forecast, our decision to take that early lap and go out straight away has really paid off. Look at that. If we'd have played our normal strategy card here to go out as late as possible, we'd have been completely utterly screwed. We have just played this so strategically perfectly, it's unbelievable. And the thing is, Mikhailovic not set a time. Antonov in 10th. The Ruiz Motorsport team, the fastest car on the grid, they're way down the grid here. This could be, fingers crossed, no catastrophes happen. This could be handing race victory to Phoenix Knights on a silver platter here. It really could. Sabado is a good driver. He pushed hard in the last race, so he's going to give us a race. But the likes of Antonov, the likes of Mikhailovic, the likes of El Sadat, who have all pushed us for the past few races, they're way down the grid due to going out too late. This is going to be rubbing hands time for this race. Sundin can't believe her luck. Unbelievable stuff. Could not have played it any better. I mean, people going out in intermediates, there's just no bloody point, is there? There's just no point. The track is dry, but it's far too late. It's far too late. And Sundin, it looks like Sundin has got her first pole position, if I'm not mistaken. She's got race victories in the bag before now, but she's never had pole position. And she has it now. It's a front row lockout for Phoenix Knights. Oh my god. It makes for pleasant viewing. Sabado's managed to eke out third place. And then we've got Mello, we've got Hong Liao. Look at that, Dragon Race Team China, the team that we focused on. He's had an absolute blinder of a qualifying. Girard, Cavalcanti. I mean, even that Predator Racing Group have qualified in 8th. The nearest I would consider fast car is Ruiz Motorsport, other than Sabado, of course. He's down in 10th, Sadat 12. I mean, they're going to struggle. Now, ideally, I want a nice, dry race with no melodrama. You know, so we can take advantage of our pole position. That would be great. If we've got any kind of rain or you know, it's the risk that with our forecasting we could screw up. Past a couple of races where we've had rain, or you know, the races where we have had rain in the past, we've not done too badly, but there is a potential of cocking it up. Now, it was down as a sunny race, at least for the first 4 laps. It's dry, we can't see beyond that, but it is cloudy, so we have to just have that in the back of our mind and factor that into our strategies, that there may at some point in this race be a shower or two. So we're going to play it nice and defensive. We have the position at the at the front of the queue. As long as we get off to a good start, we can control this race. We can control this. Right, it's an 18 lap race from what I've just seen, and we're going to go for, it's a 15 lap race, even better. So we're going to go for a long first lap stint on these tyres. They can last a long time. By fueling longer, we give ourselves the best chance of adapting to any changeable conditions after lap 4. So we're going to go long on the softs. So fuel something up to the start. She has the pace to make this work. She's going to play it nice and safe and secure. Valdes is going to have to come in a lap sooner. But again, using the soft tyres, he's going to come in a lap sooner. Okay, sorry about that. And we're going to of course have them push off the start and turn the engines right up to full beans to give them the best possible start. Right, here we go. Fingers crossed that the race turns out half as good as qualifying. And Valdes has got a point to prove here. He spun off in the last race here at Munich. So as we saw, lockout of the front row, not by Ruiz this time, but by Phoenix Knights, with Sundin qualifying ahead of Valdes' teammate by just under half a second. Sabado there a second behind, and then the rain caught everybody else unawares. And we've seen the rest of the grid already, so we won't go over that again. But the lights are now on. We just pray for a good getaway here. And we're off. And Valdes has not got off to a good start. He's back in 4th place already. Sundin, not too bad, but look at Sabado. He's pushing. He is pushing to try and get past Sundin, and he makes it. He makes it past Sundin with Hong Liao in 3rd. What on earth has happened here? And it's looking like it's going to get sunny later as well. We're not going to panic. We're not going to panic. There's no need to panic just yet. It's just the start of the race. Temperatures are good. Temperatures are good, so we're going to get the heat into the tyres pretty quickly. We're expecting Valdes to be able to pass Liao at some point. So Sabado getting off to a stormer. Right, we'll focus on Mr. Valdes here to see how quickly he gets past Mr. Lau here. He should be getting past fairly swiftly, hopefully, and then can build a bit of a gap back to the car behind him, which is Gerard in the Firebird, but he's not making an impression on Liao. In fact, he's falling into the clutches of Gerard, if anything. He's falling back into the clutches of Gerard. Right, let's have a look at what people are doing. Yep, they're still pushing the engine. They're still pushing. Okay, Sundin. I'm quite concerned at just how quick Sabado is going. He is pushing really hard, though. So I think he'll come back to us eventually. He'll come back to us eventually. We're just going to put the tyres on normal. Just go back for the time being until we cross that line. Let's have a look. 3.64. Yeah, I think we'll stay normal for now. 3.5. In fact, I don't think we're going to stretch that out. I think, yeah, we'll keep it high. High and normal's good there. I think for both cars, high and normal's good at this point. So, yeah, Valdes still is not past Liao. He's not looking like he's going to make an impression, in fact. And we've got a bit of a train forming behind. Stuck in a bit of traffic here. We've got El Sadat on hard tyres. I mean, if he didn't have a restriction of only 40% size fuel tank, this might work long stinting, but you can't long stint when you can only put 6 laps of fuel in. So going on hard tyres is completely utterly useless. But there you go. Sundin falling away from, what did I say? Race victory in the bag? Perhaps we've underestimated Sabado, as now Valdes is looking to try and take Liao on the outside. We're going to give him the push order to try and get past. Push, 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 push on the inside! He's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. And in fact, he's going to come into the pits after this lap, as he's looking like he's just about to move around the outside. I think it's still going to remain dry, so we'll continue on the same theme. We're going to long stint him this time. Regular strategies, regular pit stop speeds, nothing too risky. Right here, and it's the last lap of his strategy, so it's all guns blazing. He doesn't really, yeah, well we could do it. Oh, he's lost a position now to Gerard. His dithering and inability to pass Liao has cost him another place. All we can hope is that our pit strategy leapfrogs a couple of cars if we get a decent pit stop. Sundin is in her own little world at the moment. Her tyres are overheating. But she is catching Sabado now. So Sabado is going conserve with the engine and he's going normal with the tyres. And we are now reining him in as we will go overtake and push and pit after this. She too, yep, it's looking like it's going to remain dry, so she too will go for the long stop here, and in we come after this. So Valdes will keep an eye on this pit strategy here. Fueling is good, tyres are good. We'll give him an absolute blistering outlap if we can, and then rein him in a bit. But Sundin has now caught up to Sabado. We are both pitting on the same lap. This is very close stuff. So he pulled away at the start of the stint. We gained at the second half of the stint. We're pitting at exactly the same time. So we are very, very even Stevens at the moment. Sundin is looking to try and pass him before getting into the pit so that we can have the positional advantage. He's not going to quite make it. Another lap and we would have done. Not a problem. Let's just hope that we can have a fast pit stop. We get the benefit of having the position in the garage. It's a good stop. And we're side by side again. We're side by side. And I think we've just got our noses in front. We're going to give her all the beans to start with for her outlap, and she's managed to pass in the pits. Oh, but he's coming back at her. He's coming back on the inside. And he retakes first position. He is not going down without a fight, Sabado. He is absolutely trying his heart out here, as Valdes is not a country mile away. Not a country mile away. His tyres are completely screwed. I've absolutely screwed his tyres up for him. God bless me. Right, and Sundin, oh, I'm just completely trying to sort the strategies out. And Sundin is battling for first place with Sabado here. Absolutely battling like hell with him. He's managing to last. Somehow, some way, he's pushing the engine and pushing the tyres. It's fine for now. We'll just continue as we are, just playing the old waiting game here. Now we're going to have to bring Valdes' tyre temps down by going into conserve for a little while. He's managed to get the jump on Gerard, got a bit of breathing room. On the podium at the moment as it stands. Not doing too bad to keep up with us as well. Temperatures, yep, still high, still dry, track grip is good. Let's have a look. So he's conserving the tyres. Still has overtake mode on the engine. Checking the car conditions. Everything is okay. Even conserve is not bringing the tyre temps down. Might as well just go in normal. Right, here we go. We're going to cross the line. Still got 3.62 laps of fuel, which means we could probably go and overtake quite happily. But what we'll do, yeah, he's on normal now, so what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of him being on normal, and we're going to go and overtake now to close that gap up. As will Valdes. So we should now close the gap to Sabato, as he is now on engine conservation mode as well as tyre conservation. This is going to really give us the boost. We are on point with the pace, half a second quicker this lap. And we are looking like we are going to be passing very shortly. Even Valdes is catching up. He's having a stormer of a race. Here we go. He's now pushing his Subaru the tyres, but his engine is still turned down. As Sundin is right on his gearbox at this moment in time. We're going to turn down to high now. And Valdes is going to have to pit for his final stop. It's going to be dry for the entire of this race. We have to go medium. I was thinking of even using a used set of softs, but I don't think we can maximise that. So he's going to have to go on the slower tyre. 6 laps of fuel is the just about going to see him to the finish. He can't push though. Sundin will be able to. I'm just wondering if he's actually got enough fuel left. It's going to be close. Look at this. Sundin is right behind Sabato, as she has been for all of this race. She hasn't really had any length of time ahead of him, and she's trying to look up the inside, but she's not made it. He's defended his lines there. She's looking again up the inside, but she's too far behind. Sabato, even though he's in defensive mode, he's doing very well. Just had enough fuel left with Valdes. The pit stop, fueling has gone fine, tyres have gone fine. He's out now. Going to push and remain normal for the time being, as now it's Sundin's turn to pit. Is Sabato going to pit along the same lines? We're going to give her excess fuel so she can push towards the end of the race. She too will be on the medium tyre. Yes, he is pitting at the same time. This has been an absolutely identical strategy. By both drivers. But just like at the end of the first stint, at the end of the second, Sundin is in exactly the same position, and that is directly behind Sabato. Is she playing it cautiously? Is she not risking? Oh, she's having another bit of a look up the inside. Is she just maintaining this position, not risking knocking a wing off? She's well ahead in the championship, and second place wouldn't be a catastrophe. Is she playing it safe? As we look to try and leapfrog in the pits again. Tyres, not the greatest of stops, and this time we do leapfrog. I think he might be making a repair, Sabato. He's in the pits for a long time. He has been left behind, and Sundin now has the advantage. In fact, so much so, she's going to turn the car into normal mode to conserve, just in case. And here comes Valdes. Here comes Valdes, right behind Sundin. He could challenge for the race victory here. Is this going to be a 1-2 again? Not only a 1-2 in qualifying, but a 1-2 in the race. It's a possibility. As Valdes has pushed the tyres now, they're nice and warm. He's got excess fuel, going to go high for the time being. She has excess fuel, so she's going to have to push to fend off Valdes. This is going to be tense between the teammates. Can Valdes catch Sundin? They have both exactly the same strategy set. Valdes' tyres are a little bit warmer because he's been out longer on them, so that should be his advantage. But I'm going to leave both cars in the same strategy, so that it's not going to be any different for either driver. I mean, she can push a little bit harder, she has more excess fuel. In fact, he has to go into medium mode because he doesn't have as much fuel. In fact, he's probably just going to have to go in normal for the rest of this race now, whereas Sundin has plenty of fuel to play with, and that's going to be where she excels now, where she pulls away, I imagine. It would be unfair to hamstring her. She has the fuel to use, so we'll let her use it. But this is looking very comfortable for the Phoenix Knights team. I mean, I'm kind of saddened really that Sabato has had to make a repair, because he really was doing very well, and it would have been interesting and highly exciting to see Sundin try and pass him for the race victory. But now, as it stands, we are going to cruise to victory because there's no competitors nearby. Their nearest competitor is 19 seconds away. Yes, they're on softer tyres, but they ain't going to catch us. That is for certain. So I don't usually speed things up, but considering that there is nothing else going to happen here other than our two cars drive around in procession, I'll just click the speed up a touch. We're going to take her down to medium for the time being, just to preserve the suspension a little bit, and the brakes in fact, because they are suffering just a touch. As we come round now, there's only 2 laps to go. Sundin has this race completely and utterly under control. Her teammate Valdes, to be fair to him, has actually had a really good race weekend. He's only qualified less than half a second slower than Sundin in qualifying, and he's been within touching distance near enough during the race. But it's just not enough. Sundin once again has proven to be just a class above not only her teammate, but a class above the rest. Did she force Sabato into having to repair a part? Did he have to push his car too hard to stay ahead of Thunder and Sundin, whereas she was just driving within her limits? Possibly. So both cars now coming round the last few corners. We're going to slow the time down and savour this, because it once again, not for the first time this season, I don't think, it's a 1-2. Now I'm trying to think. Yes, I think the first race of the season was a 1-2. So yeah, a second, I think, maybe a second 1-2 for Phoenix Knights, with Sundin taking yet another race victory. Sabato fell by the wayside after looking like he was going to really push her to the very end, and Valdes, a gallant fight there. A gallant fight. He's got second place, only by 4 seconds. Not to be ashamed of, but you gotta think that the current champion can't be happy regularly finishing behind Sundin. Can't be happy. But that was a race where there was, everything was pretty much even Stevens in terms of opportunities. They were both sent out roughly at the same time for qualifying. They both had a pretty much error-free race and were free to put their foot down for as long as possible. There was no excuses there for Valdes, no muck-ups in the pits, no spinning off. He had a great opportunity there to showcase his abilities, and he came up second best again. She's just one tough nut to crack. So there's a strategy, 2 soft strategies and a medium at the end. Some cars managing to get 3 sets of soft strategy in there. But it wasn't enough. Mello finishing 3rd, Gerard in Firebird 4th, Mikhailovic managing to fight his way back up the field to get 5th. Not a bad performance. Liao, a good performance again for Dragon Race Team China in 6th, and Antonov just missing out on the points for Ruiz Motorsport in 7th. Their woeful season continues on. Checking the cars, of course we finished 1st and 2nd, so it's not going to make any difference to us if any drivers are suffering penalties. Fastest lap of the race was Sabardo, but unfortunately he came in for repairs, which cleared the path for Thundering to saunter to victory, as she once again graces the top step with her presence. Brian Potter once again up there sampling the champagne. He's probably sick of the taste of it by now. So in terms of the championship, Sundin extends her lead to 29 points. That's almost 3 race victories. She can almost put her feet up for 3 races and still be ahead when she comes back. Fancy going somewhere sunny, Sundin? Caribbean perhaps? Have a couple of races off? You've earned it. No chance. Sabardo in 3rd. He's moved up to 3rd place on 16 points. Antonov, Ruiz Motorsport 14. El Sadat, terrible race, 12. And Hong Liao 11 points. But this is beginning to look like a bit of a mockery, isn't it? It really is. We're now past the halfway point, and it's now virtually impossible to see anybody catching Sundin. I mean, if her own teammate can't do it in the same car, who the hell can? Look at this. 53 points is the gap. This is a one-horse race at the moment. Now, I did not expect this to be the case. I really didn't. I was actually genuinely concerned when I changed, forced those votes through to change the makeup of the series to qualifying and to the six positions get points. I really thought it would benefit somebody like Ruiz Motorsport, who could qualify high up with their faster car and dominate the race from the front. But they just have really, really buggered themselves up with strategy issues. Perhaps they may come good at the back end of the season, but by then it's going to be too late, surely. Asia Pacific Cup. I hope you're ready for Phoenix Nights Racing. Premature, perhaps, but confidence is high. Morale is high, confidence is high, the team bonding is great. I mean, Valdes is probably sulking in a corner somewhere. Or maybe he's trying to spin it. You know, he's a marketable guru. He's, in fact, one of his traits just before the session started, the recording started, was he's going to perhaps go for a career in the music industry, for goodness sake. I mean, perhaps he'll put some kind of a spin on it to make himself seem so chivalrous, allowing this blonde bombshell woman take a championship. He's had one. Why should he be greedy and have 2? Why not share and share alike? I am providing rear gun support here, providing points for the team, but allowing her to have a championship. I'm just so generous like that, he says. Somehow I don't think so. We don't buy it, Valdes. We don't buy it. You're just being outclassed by a better driver. Okay, we'll take a very quick look at the mail. I hate doing these interviews. Even though you have some good results, they always focus on the negative. Let's just see if today can be different. Okay, a podium is great result. Sundin raced supremely. How do you feel? Take all the plaudits? Nah. We're going to praise the Sundin. Indeed we are. She is a superstar in her own right, and she's making our car seem far better than it is. That has to be said. We have a good car, we have a decent car that's improving all the time, but she is certainly eking out the performance. She really is. Right then, there endeth another session of Motorsport Manager. I hope you've enjoyed Sundin cruising to victory. If you're a Valdes fan, I don't know what to say. I just really don't. If you're a Ruiz Motorsport fan, God help you. Because Sundin is cruising. to victory. The next race is my home Grand Prix, the home Grand Prix of the team who are based in the United Kingdom. It is the British Grand Prix at Guildford. Of course it is Guildford. Of course, it makes complete sense. But yeah, home race for the team. If there's any race to perform well, it's at your home race. So let's see if the order of business remains the same and we get another victory with Thunder in Sundin. Can Valdes do something? Will he have to resort to sabotage? Let's find out what happens next time. Until then, let's see you soon.